Howdy world, this is the Choice Specs, coach of the Orlando Magikarps, bringing you NPA Season 4, Week 11, with our battle against Iron Boffin and the Rochester Rhydons. This is kind of a rematch. We fought last season, and he did beat us. I believe it was a 3 or 4-0. So I was really looking forward to this rematch battle. On the screen, you can see we got Chinchino, Jirachi, Florges, Venusaur, Gyarados, Mega Gyarados, and Dragonite. He brought Terrakion, Tornadus, Blastoise, Blaziken, Mega Latios, and Gertrude the Spiritomb. I did not predict Blaziken. I actually thought he was going to have Magnezone. So that was the only one I didn't predict. I predicted the other 5. I figured they were coming. If you're wondering why we have Venusaur without Ninetales, because Ninetales does absolutely nothing to this team besides make Blastoise maybe, Scalds hurt less, but other than that, it does absolutely nothing to this team. So, and Venusaur either naturally outspeeds what we're going to be putting it up against, or it gets outsped unless it was in the sun. So it didn't really matter too much, and if anything is Scarf, it's going to outspeed it anyway. So we actually have no speed investment in Venusaur. Just made it a super bulky, special attacking Venusaur this week. And let's go ahead and jump into the battle. If you watched last week's, obviously, which is being loaded at the same day as this, you can see on the record, we did lose against John, aka Pokemon. So we are not in a great spot for playoffs. We need to win the next 2 or 3 matches in order to, I think, be a shot for the wild card. I don't even think we're going to be able to secure a spot unless the Rapidash fail. So I figured he was going to lead Terrakion, which he did. So I led to Chinchino just so I can go for Bolt Seed. I was kind of scared to see if it was Scarfed or not, but I did stay in and just went for Bolt Seed. And as you can see here, of course, all 5 are going to go off thanks to Skill Link. And it actually does a decent chunk of damage to this Mega Latios. Does about 40%. He doesn't know that we're banded though, or he may know, I don't know. So, but I did swap out, bringing in Johnny Jump Up, because this thing does wall Mega Latias and Mega Latios. But I think he feared Tail Slap or Rock Blast or just another Bolt Seed if any crits, I guess. So he swapped out into Gertrude, thinking Tail Slap, I guess, be immune. But we definitely like that swap. I get a free light screen here. Brings in Blaziken. So we go ahead and get a free light screen up. And we go ahead and swap out into Gyarados. Figure we can drop the Intimidate. I actually thought a Poison Jab was coming here, and I figured out -1 Poison Jab wasn't do all that much to us, but he goes for the Flare Blitz. And that does a pretty good chunk, even at -1. And then we see that it's because he has a Life Orb, which is nice to know. So he does withdraw. I figured he would, being at -1. And I wanted to preserve the Intimidate, so I go ahead and double swap back into Florges because I figured he was going to be swapping into Gertrude or something here, but we do not mind Blastoise being in here, and we are faster for some reason, so I went for a Moonblast just to get some damage off. We do get the special attack drop, which is nice, but he does show that he has a Roar, and I should have figured that considering we were faster, with no speed investments at all. And Jirachi comes out, which I wasn't a fan of in case he had Aura Pulse. So I just went straight for U-turn. We are Scarfed, so we're faster, but he does swap out. Maybe thinking we were special, Thunderbolt or something. And Gertrude does come out, which I'm happy with, because this thing could Pursuit Trap us, and we just get a U-turn, get some chip damage off, and we get to go back. And I bring in Florges again, because once again, Gertrude can't do all that much to us. Light screen is off, so I just go ahead and get light screen back up. And at this point, I honestly already forgot that this thing was Life Orbed, because I was like, I'm just going to stay in and get a Wish off, so I can pass that into Mega Gyarados. But I forgot he was Life Orbed. I didn't have it on the calc, so that did more than I thought it was going to do, which that recoil is nice. With the life orb damage is also nice. And I do get a wish off, but I figured, honestly, that was going to do... I figured we'd be above 50% after leftover recovery, so unfortunately that was not good. But I do go ahead and swap back into Gyarados, drop this thing attack one more time. And we could take another Flare Blitz, but it wouldn't be great. But then, you know, Life Orb, and then we'll do better. But luckily, we skillfully dodged that Stone Edge. He does make a prediction, but thankfully we block because that would have killed, probably, even at -1 because of the Life Orb. But he does swap out, brings in Happy, and we did stay in. And I should have predicted him swapping. I should have went for Crunch, but I went for Waterfall just in case it stayed in, which even at then I think Crunch would have done a decent chunk. But Happy doesn't care about that Waterfall. It does like 10%, if that. And with leftovers, kind of just negates it. So I go ahead and get out of here, go straight into Venusaur. And he does hit me with the Scald, which we're not too concerned about. But he does get the burn, which I am okay with. We were running Earthquake just in case he brought Magnezone on Venusaur, because even being modest with minus attack nature, Earthquake still killed. Our light screen is gone, and I figured Mega Latios might be coming in, or if he stayed in, it would be fine, so I just went for a Toxic. And Icarus comes in, which I still don't mind being Toxic. It's not horrible. So I wasn't sure what this thing wanted to do. I was kind of hoping it would go for a Tailwind or some kind of prankster shenanigans. And I went to swap into Florges, which is not a great play, because I should have called the Air Slash or Hurricane or something, but I figured if it's especially invested, we could take it, but we do not take that very well at all. I was hoping to come in if he went for Tailwind and be able to get up a Wish at least on whatever came in, but or get my light screen back up, but obviously Mega Latios is only a special attacker, so it wouldn't be that convenient or useful at the moment. But Icarus is being worn down with that Toxic. I bring in Salt because I figured I could just go for an Iron Head, which should, you know, has a good chance of flinching it, and then Toxic might kill it after that. But he swaps back in on Gertrude, and I'm like, this is not good. Iron Head does do a good chunk. I'm like, that another one of those should kill it. He does reveal the Sucker Punch, and that did a huge chunk to us. But Salt is able to finish this thing off with an Iron Head, and Gertrude goes down. Salt picking up a kill. He brings Blaziken back in. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go for an Iron Head. If I flinch it, good. And we do get the flinch. So I'm thinking, okay, sweet. I can just finish this thing off now with another Iron Head. But he goes back into Happy, which Happy's not going to care about this Iron Head all that much. And with leftovers, gonna get that HP right back. So I'm thinking this thing still has some use, so I'm gonna preserve Salt and just go back out into Venusaur. And he does go for the Scald, which once again we can take that just fine. We got a little chip burn damage, but that's okay. And this next turn I felt really bad out during, especially because I got the flinch on Blaziken. He does withdraw, and he goes into Mega Latios, who hasn't Mega'd yet, and we go for the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb damn near kills, but we also get the poison, which is going to be enough to kill. And Latios goes down before being able to Mega, which I'm super grateful for, but I felt really bad about the amount of hacks that we've had so far. Although 60% flinch isn't all that hacksy. It's it's most likely to happen. He hits me with an air slash, and I just sack off Venusaur. It's done its job. Blastoise, it could have handled Blastoise, but we still have Cinccino in the back for that, if need be. So I bring in Salt here. I go for Zen Headbutt, because Zen Headbutt has the potential to one-shot at this range, or at least, you know, if the flinch, Toxic will take it out. But he sends in Happy, and Zen Headbutt does a decent chunk here. Not all the great, but at this point, I'm just going to sack off Jirachi. I can bring in Cinccino, and it outspeeds everything else on the team. And we get the 40% flinch off of Zen Headbutt, which I felt bad about because I was literally trying to sack off Jirachi just so I could bring Cinccino in. But I was like, oh well, I'll just stay in. And Jirachi picks up another kill. He's getting flinches and kills out here. And so once again, I'm locked in. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for a Zen Headbutt. But he does get the Tailwind up, which is nice for him. And Jirachi does take it down, and the Toxic does kill, so technically that kill goes to Venusaur. But Jirachi is putting in the finest of work right now. Help me take down 3 Dons, but now Terrakion does outspeed us. And reveals the close combat. Taking Salt down finally, but getting that defense and special D drop, which is nice for us. Because I bring in Dragonite, because I couldn't bring in Cinccino because it is faster than us now. So I bring in Dragonite, depending on what this thing wants to do, which I was like, if he has a Z Stone Edge, we are screwed. Which I thought that was the case, but then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't Rock. What was that? That was Steel. So he has Corkscrew Crash, which I'm assuming was for Florges, which I'm okay with, as this should do very little to Dragonite, which it does. And we just hit it with an Earthquake, and since it's at -1, this is a guaranteed kill. And Terrakion goes down. And the only thing left he has in the back is Blaziken, which is at very low health, so I knew I could just extreme speed. And the Karps are turning that sinking ship back around. We might actually have a chance for playoffs with a solid 3-0 win. The Poison Hacks was unfortunate. The Flinch Hacks, I'm sorry. Iron Heads, I definitely expected the flinch. The Zen Headbutts, I did not expect the flinch. So I did feel bad, especially when the Poison took down Mega Latios. That was a huge, huge play. Or huge event for me. Because if he did survive that, he could pretty much just one-shot anything I brought in. Or if I kept Venusaur, and obviously it would have died as well, but pretty much anything would have died had it not been poisoned. But anyways, we are still in the running for playoffs. I believe I do have to win my next 2 matches to get like a wild card. I don't even think we can make it unless, like I said, unless Papa C or Frost tanks these next 2 matches. I think we're out of the running for the league, our division, because we're in 3rd, and I think we'll be in 3rd no matter what, unless they both lose. Then we have a chance, and we win. We have a chance, so we are in the runnings, but we are still in the runnings, a pretty decent running for a wild card. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So that was week 11. Thank you to Iron Boffin. Thanks for the rematch. Go check out his links in the description, and good luck in your playoff running as well. I know I didn't help that, but we will see what happens. See you next week.